Humans are on the moon. What's the weirdest thing you found? Not aliens. It's not a base. It's something that's not supposed to exist. With the debut of our manned lunar lander, this discovery becomes crucial. Since over 50 years ago, Apollo astronauts set foot on the moon for the last time. It's been more than half a century. No human footprints have ever set foot on that land again. But then I threw dozens of detectors over there. Some landed successfully. Some fly around. And deliberately smashed into the moon. We'll see what waves we can stir up. But even after decades of research, the moon is still full of mysteries. No matter how it stores heat, or the principle of conducting current, even the properties of the soil, we still know too little. The universe seems to be like this. The more you study, the more problems you find. For example, full of expectations when there is no crossing the border. But after Yu Yang took it back, one discovery after another, those chemical traces that shouldn't be there. It all started in 1976, when the Soviet Union went to the moon, launched a Moon 24's unmanned probe. This is their last trip, a mission to the moon. No one cared about this task at the time. Neither the first time. It's not that big. But he actually did something really big quietly. He drilled about 2 meters beneath the surface of the moon. A small piece of the moon was taken and sent back to Earth. This picture is only 170 grams in total. It's about the same as a baseball. It's not much. But in this narrow strip of dust, something strange has appeared in the museum. A tear of water. About 0.1% of the sample contained water. And the more you study the sample, the more water you find. This should be a big deal. But just the opposite. Scientists believe that this water may have originated from Earth. The sample was contaminated, perhaps from the lander, perhaps from devices on Earth. Because the textbook clearly says, the moon is dry. There can be no water. And it wouldn't be the first time. Before, in the soil brought back by the American Apollo astronauts, there is a similar hydrogen signature, but it was also ignored as pollution. Therefore, these were the clues that should have caused an uproar. It's in the corner of the lab report. No one mentioned it again. Until the turn of the century. Are we missing something important? The moon is ready. Gives us more problems. If I threw you at the poles of the moon, some of the crater edges, you get an almost unnatural view. Not because of what? But there's nothing there. Not even light. Only one piece over billions of years. A permanent shadow that has never moved. These areas are called the permanently shadowed areas. Why is this happening? Because the lunar station is particularly straight. The inclination is only about 1.5 degrees. When the sun hits the poles, the light almost sweeps across the surface of the moon. These craters are big and deep. The sun can't get in. So that place throughout the history of the solar system hardly ever saw a ray of sunlight. Not only cold, but no thermal cycling. One of the coldest places can reach below minus 240 degrees Celsius. It's colder than Pluto in the distance. Arguably the coldest place in the solar system. Scientists started wondering in the 1990s if a comet or asteroid had ever hit the moon, brought the water over. Could there be some vapor wafting into the pits? It froze, and he never left. The idea went viral, because he means the moon may not be a dead rock. He could be a repository, a future gas station. Since then, all eyes focused on the 2 auroras of the moon. But here's the thing. These are the most promising places. It is also the hardest place to go. Complex terrain. Solar panels are a decoration there. But the temptation is too great. What if there is ice? So wave after wave of exploration missions. That's it. There's only one goal: to find real evidence. And just then, things started to get weird again. Scientists suspect that there is ice. What's next? Send a scout to check it out. But the risk of direct landing is too high. So the first few waves of missions are looking around the sky. The first one, the Clementine, was launched by NASA in 1994. He's not looking for water. Mainly to map the moon, map of most areas, and confirm the South Pole. There are those permanent shadows. But he wasn't carrying the right equipment. By 1998, NASA launched the Lunar Explorer. This time I'm running for water. He scanned the moon with a special instrument, especially those shaded areas. A large number of hydrogen signals were discovered, and they were delighted. Theoretical estimation. There could be tens of millions of ice reserves there, even hundreds of millions of tons. This is not a pool of water. It was a discovery that was game-changing. But here's the problem. The discovery of hydrogen is not the same as the discovery of water. He could also have been part of the robbery, or locked in minerals. The instruments can't tell the difference. All he could tell us was that there was hydrogen in there. But it's not certain that this hydrogen is part of the sailors. What is that? Actually, even the Aqua Orbiter can't see him. So it's not solid evidence at all. This has left the scientific community collectively scratching their heads again. There's data. There's clues. It's just impossible to finally confirm. It's like the moon telling you he has a baby, but he won't let you peek open. So scientists thought, since you can't see clearly in the sky, then be crisp. Just hit him. You heard right. Just hit the moon. The logic is simple. If the ice is hidden at the bottom of the pit, I can't see it from above. Then I'll take something and smash it hard. Blow the bottom of the pit out. Fly to a place with sunshine. Can't I see clearly? It's simple and crude. But it works. The first attempt came from the Lunar Scout. After completing its mapping mission, in 1999, crashed into a crater near the moon's south pole. But unfortunately, this attempt failed. No water detected. The experimental results are inconclusive. Some say the angle of impact is wrong. Some people say it's clear. 10 years after the failed impact detection, now 2009, NASA's LaCrosse mission brings a turnaround, brought a trailblazer, the rocket ship that carried him to the sky. He first treated this big iron pimple like a cannonball, smashed into a place near the South Pole called Carbeus Crater. After a few minutes, the LCROSS satellite body is also following the same trajectory, flying directly over the rain of debris from the impact. Conduct on-site analysis. This time it worked. The recorded instrument detected water vapor in the rain stream. Not a hint this time. It's literally measurable water. Not just water. There's also methane. Ammonia gas. This is the first time for humans. I really touched the water on the moon, and it was all over the world in the headlines. It feels like this mystery has been going on for decades. Finally solved it. But soon a new problem arose. But how much water is there? It's lumps of ice. Or a smoothie mixed in the soil. The most important thing is whether this thing is good or not. LaCrosse gave us the answer, but he himself was smashed to pieces in the impact. Can't provide more information? We only know that at least at that point there was water. But the full extent of the moon remains a mystery. If the moon had water, that must be hidden in those coldest, in the darkest permanent shadow. The sun never shines on this place. It's like a natural freezer. Ice cubes can stay in it for billions of years. There's nothing wrong with that logic. But the moon can always give you something new. Probes in orbit. For example, NASA has been orbiting the moon since 2009. Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and India's Chandrayaan-1. They start outside these big freezers. The sun-drenched surface of the moon captured some weak water molecule signals. This is going to kill everyone. Find water where the sun can shine. The temperature in that place can soar to over 100 degrees during the day. Shouldn't the water have evaporated earlier? Even more puzzling is yet to come. Scientists have discovered that these water signals are not always there. He actually has a schedule. The sun is the most poisonous at noon, the hottest time on the surface. The water signal gets weaker, or even disappear altogether. But in the evening, the ground cools down. The signal is back. What is this called? Is the moon sweating? Sweating hot during the day. Take it back at night. It's a cognitive subversion. You know, the moon is a vacuum. No atmosphere, no air pressure, no wind, rain and lightning. On Earth, water evaporates and condenses to form clouds and rain. It's called the water cycle. But the moon is bare. Where did he get the water cycle? This is definitely the moon. One of the top puzzles thrown at us. Where did this water come from? Scientists scratched their heads and came up with several possibilities. One theory is that it is delivered by visitors from outside the sky. Every day there are countless images. Small dust-like meteorites hit the moon. They may have brought their own water, or smash into the ore of lunar soil. knocked out the water locked inside. There's a more interesting way of saying it. Said it was blown out by the sun. The sun keeps blowing out. An electric green chestnut. That's what we call the solar wind. The wind blows to the moon. Green chestnuts hit the oxygen in the lunar soil. Water molecules will be synthesized for you on site. No matter what the source is, it means we may not have to go to places that are dark and cold. In the polar crater, that is extremely difficult to develop. Perhaps the entire lunar surface, thin wet with a layer of water. It depends on whether we have the ability to collect it. This is the location range of the future moon base. It expanded countless times in an instant. This seductive possibility directly spawned the next generation of exploration missions. So in 2023, scientists in India. It also challenges the ultimate mystery, Luna 3 landing probe, and his goal is the South Pole. This is also what scientists believe, the highest concentration of frozen water on the moon. This is the first time humans have sent a probe to the South Pole. Everyone's eyes widened. Waiting for the rover to be sent back, Pragyan found the ice. The lunar rover is moving. It's a laser. It's an X-ray. Analyze the soil on the ground. There is everything, but I can't find it. No clear means no water. Everyone is confused this time. What about the water? It's clearly marked on the map. Did we all get it wrong before? Or is the water too deep? The rover's little shovel can't reach it at all. I didn't wait for everyone to figure it out. The 14-day-long moonlit night is coming. The temperature plummeted to over -100 degrees. Chandrayaan-3 failed to make it through. Forever asleep. He left it for us. Is a bigger mystery than ever. However, the third of the month is not a trip in vain. Before he died, inadvertently using a temperature, the probe picked up a key clue. He measured the temperature of the lunar soil, and the surface was scalding hot from the sun. There are more than 60 degrees, but the probe only needs to extend down 8 centimeters. The temperature plummets to -10 degrees. That's too much of a difference. What does that mean? Explain the soil on the surface of the moon. Like a thick layer of insulation. The heat from outside can't get in at all. That explains it perfectly. Why is the lunar rover on the surface? Found nothing. Because sailors. It is likely hidden in this down jacket. A few centimeters below. Hiding safe and sound. So it's probably not without water. It's that our previous shovels were too short. So the question is no longer whether the moon is dry. It's that our tools are not sharp enough. Unable to conduct proper excavation. If this is true, then the next lander, there will be no need to fly farther or see better. He just needed a stronger drill. For decades, search for the moon. Water has always been regarded as a scientific curiosity. A better understanding of the history of the moon, humanity's springboard to liftoff, and the building blocks of future space bases. Because, if we could find usable water on the moon, enough to extract, purification and storage, it unlocks everything else. The cost of launching water from the Earth is high. The water transported in the past is comparable to gold. But if astronauts can get water locally, reduce the supplies they need to carry, this water is drinkable. Cooking, cleaning, or cooling equipment, without relying on the planet's constant supply. Secondly, water can be decomposed into hydrogen and oxygen. That's a lot of modern rockets. The same fuel combination used. If we can establish a system to extract sailors and convert it into propellant, then the moon is more than just a destination. It will become a gas station. A spacecraft is on its way to deeper space, asteroids on Mars or beyond, where you could refuel before. This changes the whole calculation. Currently, every mission must be carried from the outset. All fuel, but building a resupply base on the moon can reduce compounding. Launching from the moon is also easier. Its attractive force is only 1/6 that of the Earth. That means less energy, lower costs, and greater flexibility. Spacecraft launched from the moon. We don't need big rockets. He just needs a push. Third, local water has changed the way we build. It can support closed-loop life support systems, recycling waste into usable resources. It could even help grow food. Some plants can be found in. Grows in lunar soil under controlled conditions. but they still need water. If we find enough water, future habitats, it can be said that this will have a significant impact on the future of human space exploration. Has a pivotal position. Although it is still uncertain how much water there is, how easy is it to access it? Because all these fuel bases, missions beyond the moon, only if we can first. It can only be achieved if the water is extracted. This brings us to the last question. Although there are so many tasks, data and optimism, here's the thing. We still don't have a clear path. Every time we feel as if we figured out the moon, he will bring us something new. A missing signal, an unexpected result. We are in the impacting rain stream. Signs of water vapor were found, but no frost, no ice caps. Visible accumulation, even in craters that have never seen sunlight, those cold enough to freeze the ice. For billions of years, high-resolution camera still haven't caught any clarity. Something that looks like ice. What we get instead is ambiguity. Shallow probe found nothing. The water detected by the instrument appears to have disappeared during the day. The rover has used those that should have been a crater filled with frozen material, only to find more dust. Even new technologies like shadow cameras. Although it can, the darkest place on the moon, imaging. It has not yet been revealed what scientists have discovered. The kind of clarity of hope. Reflective ice cubes. And this raises a very troubling question. If we were on the moon, how to store water? What if it's always wrong? What if the model needs to be corrected? Or worse, if water does exist, but it's distributed so thinly, buried so deep, or chemically bound so tightly to the soil, dense, we're not really ready for it. Of course, look optimistically. Maybe our tools are accurate, but not good enough. Our orbiter, like eyes suspended in the air. I can see it, but I can't touch it. What about the lander and the rover? It's like a fingertip sticking out. Can touch but not drill deep. All our probes seem to address only the symptoms but not the root cause of the issue. It always feels like it's just a little bit away. Spectrum. And the data that comes back is full of puzzles. He told us that there are green. But I didn't say that this blue is the blue in the water. Or green in stone. He told us it was very bright. But it didn't say the light was from the frost. Or some kind of special ore. But in the human dictionary, it doesn't seem to give up these two words. Quite the contrary. It gets foggy. The more our curiosity is ignited, new tasks are queuing up. More powerful landers are being built. Everyone's eyes are still staring there. The place where we believe there is treasure. Next mission. He's going to be carrying a deeper drill. A more intelligent extraction system. Don't try anymore. But to pierce that layer once and for all. The last window paper. Certainly, the moon may also play a joke on us again. Let's uncover more unsolved mysteries. A new era bigger than the moon landing itself will open, and then the blue planet beneath our feet.